The age-old problem. I can't afford it. I don't have the money. I don't have the budget. I'm going to buy out of the area because I can't afford it. This morning we're talking about you can afford it, how you can afford it, what you can buy under 400k on the northern beaches of Sydney. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Morning.
Josh Webshot, top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning. What you can purchase under 400k on the beaches this morning. The interesting topic.
So, Josh, you're a gun salesperson on the northern beaches, residential and commercial. What can you buy for under 400k? Surely not much.
Well, funnily enough, there's actually quite a few opportunities that lay under that 400k mark, and some of them I think not only good opportunities just to get in the market, but that makes sense numbers wise. Guys, if I take you to the usual yield on a residential property, you're probably averaging at around 3 and 4%. One thing that I wanted to note out was a recent sale over at Forestville, the centre. So essentially we had an office upstairs guiding 350. We ended up selling there 365 with the original owner leasing the property back. At 365, the owner offered to rent the property back. That means there's no GST. It's sold as a going concern. So another tick. And the other thing is also the rent that they were wanting to rent the property back over was a 3x3 and was almost at a 7%. I believe 6.8. You take out your cost, your outgoings, you probably lie around 6%. So for not only getting into a property under 400k, which a lot of people think doesn't exist on the northern beaches, but also you invested in an asset that's going to generate almost double the yield of what it would cost you in a residential apartment. And generally for a residential apartment, you're looking at around, you're looking at double the price as well. So cost to enter the market in that space, you're probably looking at 650, 700 now these days for your cheapest one better. So just goes to show you, looking out there for not what everyone else is looking for. You can find these opportunities where you're spending under 400. You're actually getting a better rental return on your investment than what you would say buying a $600,000-$700,000 apartment.
And is it the reality of someone can't buy something? Is it the reality of saying that someone can't buy something and that's why they're doing that, or is it the reality of that they've just got this beaten up mentality, whereas I've got to go to Queensland, I've got to go to Melbourne, I can't get anything good. I'm going to go somewhere else to get something good.
I just think the majority of the market, or the perception of the market in Sydney, is always that and has been that for quite some time. And I think that sort of overpowers the ability for people to go and look under the covers and find opportunities like these. I think another point is probably people aren't as used to purchasing in the commercial realm as they would residential. I mean, I'm sure if you picked 10 people off the street, eight out of the 10 people are going to say, yes, I've invested in residential type property. But if we were asked the same 10 people, have you invested in commercial? I think we would struggle to find, 1, 2, or 3, essentially because either, they haven't known anyone that's owned it before, they're unfamiliar with the space, they don't own a business, they're, more employee work and haven't thought on the other side of owning a practice or a space like the one at the centre. So I think it really comes down to a lot of it being education and probably that perception of, Sydney prices. I think that's probably played a part, Mark. What about yourself? What would you say?
Yeah, look, I reckon attitude is your biggest problem. I reckon education, where to get to change your attitude, is the second biggest problem, and that I think getting out of your head the orthodox thought of what you should be buying, i.e., I know Lisa, my wife Lisa, when she was in her late teens, early 20s, she's like, I reckon it would be a really good buy to buy studios with in Potts Point. Cracker idea, they'll always rent. And the idea was poo-pooed by everyone around her. One, she's going, that's a cracker. That's handy to the city. People go, nah, it's a dodgy part of town. Two, she's going, oh, it's someone would still want to live there. And then people going, yeah, no one likes studios. So I think getting your mind around that yes, you're not going to get the two better for 400K, for 500K, where you make it in other parts of Australia, but you may get something much smaller, but it's still going to perform well. It's going to perform well. And then there's that attitude of I can't do it, I won't do it, I shouldn't do it. And then that's like, no, I'm going to skin this cat. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get the. So it's that attitude of, okay, well, how am I going to do it? And I don't see many people sitting down with our team saying, how am I going to skin the cat? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do it? Where am I going to get the money from? Are there any grants? What if I buy in my super? Okay, kill the idea of buying something for 400 grand personally. I'm going to buy something in my super because I can. Do you know what I mean? So let's skin the cat another way. There's ways to save as a first home buyer in your super and buy not in your super. So skin the cat attitude. Think of a different type of property. It may not be a two, but it may be a studio.
Yeah, definitely. That's really, really well said. I think, looking at it at a different perspective, like Lisa's looking against the grain, so to speak, in that scenario. I think people start looking outside the box and thinking things are possible. I think it's a bit of a surprise what you see on the other end once you go through that practice.
And they will go up. Those studios that she was eyeing off at 80, 90 grand, they are now 800, 900,000.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite insane. And like for example, these storage units as well, Mark, you're entering the market at around circa 200, 220K. And again, you're getting rents there of 250. I mean, I've got one down at Middleton Road paying 300 plus GST per week. And obviously we all know with the storage units, your upkeep on those is close to nothing. I mean, you've got your strata rates are $300-400 a year for those smaller units, whereas you see a lot of other places you're spending over $1,000 a quarter. So I think assets like those where people thought, storages, what can you really do with them? Well, I mean, the amount of uses I've seen for them, it just seems to be growing and growing. And I think something that, people purposely call up for storage units to rent them with a car stacker. People purposely call up for leasing storage units for storage with a mezzanine, or to work upstairs, store their small business downstairs. I mean, it's such an active space. I'm not surprised more people aren't taking advantage of. And where in Sydney can you put down $20,000 and expose yourself to growth in the Sydney property market? Doesn't exist.
Here's a good question. Is it better to buy a high performance asset in a low price range, in a low category or price range, or is it better to buy a high performance asset in a category that's not as attractive than to buy a low performing asset that's attractive real estate? What I mean by that is don't get caught up. Please do not get caught up in buying in a low performance area because it fits in your price range. It's always been a low performance area, and the odds are it will always be a low performance area. Push yourself, buy in a traditional high performance area, but sacrifice. Instead of a 2-bedder, buy a 1-bedder. Instead of a 1-bedder, buy a studio. Instead of a studio, buy a storage unit. Because generally the performance of those is always going to be sustainable and going to hang around. Then you can bunny hop into the next price range because that did well because it's in a high performance area.
Well said. And that's, yeah, definitely, I think we've had that discussion before about building yourself up, you know, from where a level that is comfortable and manageable for yourself. Of course, try and stretch yourself, push the limits. But like we said, you know, if you start off at the storage, then push yourself to the studio. That's the property ladder, guys. And the sooner you're playing the game, the sooner you're leveling that game up, and all of a sudden the stakes started at, you know, 10, 20,000 are up to $1 million. Definitely buying in a high performing area, I think is massively important.
So before we go, under 400K, you've just sold for mid 300s office. You've got for sale storage units for 209K. Under 400K, what else is there out there?
Guys, we've also got Fisher Road in DY. We've got a couple of offices side by side, and also an experienced law firm that would also rent back one of the spaces at $500 plus per week on a 5x5. Like we said, these are high performing assets, and if you can buy into one of these and settle and have a tenant in there on a 5x5. I don't know why people haven't jumped at the offer sooner. I am talking with someone on that one with the side by side. I've sort of said to him, hey, petition some internal walls in, create 3 smaller offices, rent it to 3 individuals. All of a sudden you're getting an extra $100, $200 a week. And it's a lot easier then again to find smaller rents than it would be to rent the whole office. So not only you're making more money, but you're making it easier for yourself. I think with commercial or any property, making the changes and value adding is really the pumps that get the wheels churning on these assets. So guys, don't just look at it at face value. What can I add to it? How can I improve it? How can I make it more accessible to more renters?
Chop. You can do that with commercial.
Yeah.
That's chop. You can do that with commercial much easier.
Yeah, definitely. And it works, guys. I see it.
Awesome. Everyone, there you go. Have a great day. Josh, thank you so much. Under 400K, there are still buyers on all the beaches.
See you guys. Thank you.
Take care.